What do you want to know? I'll tell you all about how to cure the sick. You know what makes them sick. Now I'm going to tell you how to cure them. First of all, do away with the electric shock. It interferes with the abstract thinking, the prefrontal lobes. Bring back the metrazole, but fatten them up with meat, the muscle, not the fat, the muscle. Plenty of meat and liver, mostly liver, meat, fish, eggs, all your dairy products. But don't mix the milk with the meat. Go back to the Jewish dietary laws. Gabish. Then you give them the metrazole. 3 treatments and I was all right. I had 3 electric shocks that made me crazy. 60 insulin treatments did nothing but blow up my body. I weighed 180 pounds, but the metrazole, the pins and needles went right out of my head. And the anxiety and laying on the couch like a dead man, that disappeared.
Hello and welcome back. Next Sunday is the season finale. I hope that you've been enjoying the show, and welcome to The Psychologist is in.
What can I do, Foster?
Mix. Mix, Finn, mix.
I am your mother.
Be silent!
If you have not had a chance and this is your first time viewing, make sure and go back and check out Hereditary, Bug, Frailty, and my favorite, The Exorcist. With that, we're going to get into this week's case. I am going to be discussing 2019 movie Midsommar. This is another A24 movie who have been pretty much releasing a lot of movies with psychological disorders. The movie is directed by Ari Aster. This is his follow-up to Hereditary. The movie stars Florence Pugh as Dani from Malevolent and Black Widow. Jack Reynor as Christian. This is his first horror movie. I guess you might know him from Transformers. William Jackson Harper. This is also his first horror movie. I know him from The Good Place. Will Poulter as Mark. He's from Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. Laura Torchia as Connie from In the Earth, which we reviewed in 3 Corners of Horror. So, what do our characters deal with? Well, we have post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, and disorientation, which is an altered mental state. Dani's sister Terry suffers from bipolar disorder, and during an episode, she does a murder-suicide, killing herself and killing her parents. This is the initial torment that Dani starts the movie out with, and which she'll carry through in the movie as she's dealing with the loss of her family. And when she joins Christian and the friends on this trip, well, she's already in emotional distress. We can also assume that with Dani's constant need to put others over her, always putting her feelings aside, that this was something that she had to do with Terry and her family. Also, disorders are hereditary, so we can probably assume that she may also have been bipolar, and she never got the support she had also needed. That trauma from childhood has gone on to her adult life. Dani more than likely never got the support from her parents, as they were always coddling Terry. That is why every time that Christian pushes her away, you start noticing that Dani starts kind of losing a bit of her sanity. Once again, Dani, as Christian pushes her away, is without the support of a loved one. Dani slowly starts to give into her own mental illness as the movie progresses. The first break was when she witnessed the ritual, the suicide ritual basically. When she saw this, it brought back all her feelings from what Terry had done. This was also the first glimpse of the disorientation. Also, Christian should have realized what this would have done to her. And instead of being by her side, he goes to tell Josh that he's going to write the same thesis, basically leaving Dani alone to deal with what she's feeling in this moment. When she saw Christian having sex with the other woman, this is what pushed her over the edge. This leads her to one of my favorite scenes in Hereditary, almost similar in this. Both Colette and Pugh have scenes where their emotion pours out, and just the acting that they did was amazing. In this case, it was the betrayal of Christian that catapulted Dani. Dani starts to inconsolably cry. All the pain, the anger, the grief that she's been harboring in starts to come out. Something else happens in this scene. At first it looked kind of creepy, but after my third watch, I realized that the women that were crying and screaming were basically telling her to let it out. So they were there to help her release it all. I mean, and just the way that she cried was heartbreaking. But Dani, now for the first time, had support of others, which is one of the things that she's been longing for. In the end, Dani decided to stay at Ogra. She never had the support back home that she longed for. Well, she found it here. And Dani now became part of the cult. This is what cults do. They draw in lonely, sad individuals. They make them feel better. leaving behind everything so they can be part of a cult, essentially finding a place where they belong, which is all they have been searching for. Throughout the movie, Christian's friends make Dani feel like she is a burden on him. Dani herself had wondered that in the beginning, if all her baggage was going to be too much for Christian, and people who suffer from mental disorders need support system. And in this movie, Christian nor his friends wanted to be that system for her. It was clear that Christian and his friends were not thrilled that she was coming on the trip. Why? Well, her emotional baggage was going to ruin the trip for them. They wanted to go and have fun and, basically enjoy themselves. With her loss, it was going to be too much for them. They wanted nothing to do with her. And this is kind of what society does to some people with mental illnesses. So this leaves me the one character that showed Dani some support, and it was Pele. When they first met, he told her that he was sorry for her loss, that he too had lost his parents, and she got upset, ran away. The second time they're all together and they're tripping, he says that, that they are now his family. Hearing this also upset her, and once again, she got up and ran away. Basically, a last time trying to run away once she's realizing the support, Pele shows up again after the ritual and tells her that after he lost his parents, that Ogra became his home. This is where he found his family. And he was basically telling her, this was the reason I brought you here, to help you. What he was doing was he was pulling her into the cult, showing her that Ogra is where she belonged and that this could be her family. One other telling, or rather planned moment from the members of the Ogra was to incorporate Dani and do the May Queen dance. If you watched, it looked as if basically they were letting her win. But she was also having people around her supporting her, and she wins the crown and basically starts getting all this attention that she had been longing for, while Christian watched from the outside. Then you get the picture with Dani in the middle, basically showing her that now she does have a family and support. Pele also got his kiss. So when we close, it's with Dani smiling back at us. This moment I feel has kind of been her little psychotic break after everything that she had gone through. You would think so, but I thought that when she was smiling is because she finally found a home. What is the diagnosis? This movie, it's psychological. All the horror aspects were really the rituals that were being done by the cult. There was no supernatural, it's all rituals, and well, they're kind of gruesome for us in modern times. A person's mental illness was played upon, and that was the horror in the movie. So join me next week for the season finale. I'm going to be doing one that Junior requested, which is 2018's Incident in a Ghostland. I saw this movie once, I found it disturbing, and thought I'd never see it again, but doing it for the show. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us to get new updates. Until then, I'll see you next week.